They ended up spending the night in the stall of a barn. Dirt floor, covered with hay, bedding for the animals. You ever been in a barn filled with animals? Is it the kind of place you'd like to give birth in? Just a question. No, imagine. I mean, the inn is booked. So animals are everywhere. Horses, donkeys, at least lots of them. And what do they do? I mean, there's manure everywhere. There's the smell of animals. It's germ heaven. Odors everywhere, which of course attracts bugs. And I have been in that area. There are bugs. And that's where Mary and Joseph bunked. And wouldn't you know it, one of the nights they spent there, Mary goes into labor. Time has come. And right there, in a stall, in a stable, Mary gives birth to Jesus. And they take Jesus and they cut the umbilical cord and they deal with the afterbirth, and then they take strips of cloth and they tear them up and they wrap Jesus tightly and they lay him in a feeding trough, which they would have had to clean out before they could put some hay in and put the little newborn baby down. Now, when I look at that scene, as a historical observer, do you know what comes to my mind? What a mess. I mean, it was a relational mess. Ostracized by family. Couldn't even leave Mary with anybody, even though she was very pregnant. Had to take her with her. Nobody would let them into their home. It was a relational mess with all the vicious rumors circulating and the ostracism that came on. It was a circumstantial mess. Caesar Augustus, the decree, I got to go to Bethlehem, I got to take Mary, I get there, the inn is all booked up. It's just a circumstantial mess. And it was a physical mess. Here we are camped out in a stall, in a stable, with a bunch of animals and probably some servants here and there guarding the stuff, so we had no privacy whatsoever when we gave birth to a baby in a barn. What a mess. But get this. None of it was an accident. None of it was coincidence. None of it was a mistake. All of it went exactly according to plan. Look what the scriptures had prophesied hundreds of years earlier. It said, "But you, Bethlehem, though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come for me one who will be ruler over Israel, whose origins are from old, from ancient times." Basic is a Hebrew way of saying this ruler will come who has existed forever. God himself. We know this applies to Jesus because when the wise men showed up and they went to Herod's court and said, "We've heard a Messiah is born. Where is he?" The religious scholars of the court came. They went to this very verse and they said, "If the Messiah is born, it must be in Bethlehem," because that's what the scriptures have foretold. The census, the taxation, the gathering, it was all planned. And it all revealed something powerful about God. And I think what it revealed is this: God is at home in a mess. God's at home in a mess. In fact, that's where he picked for his first home. God is not turned off by a mess. God is not repulsed by a mess. God does not run away from a mess. No matter how complicated the mess, no matter how disgusting the mess, no matter how difficult the mess, God is not turned off by it. In fact, God appears to be attracted to messes. Attracted to them. The very thing most people want to run from. You know, if you were to go to San Francisco, California, you would probably hear about a woman whose name was Dr. Mimi Silbert. Dr. Silbert runs the Delancey Street Foundation in San Francisco. It's a conglomeration of about a couple of dozen successful businesses. She's an entrepreneur. All of her businesses are highly successful, but you might be a little shocked at who she exclusively hires to work in her businesses. Here's how she herself describes it. She says, they're nasty, racist, violent, and greedy. They are thieves, prostitutes, robbers, and murderers. Then she adds, when we started 30 years ago, most were gang members. Today, the people we receive are third-generation gang members. According to Silbert, she says, these guys get letters from grandma saying, get back here, the gang needs you. You see, Dr. Silbert typically hires people who have had at least 4 felony convictions. They have been homeless for years, and most are lifetime drug addicts. Within hours of joining her foundation, they are put to work in one of her businesses. And it just so happens that what Dr. Silbert does, 90% of the people that she hires to work in one of her 24 businesses never go back to a life of crime, never go back to jail again. Because she is on a mission to turn the lives around of people who've made the biggest messes of their lives. It's the only people she will hire. She is attracted to the mess because she wants to help. She is not repulsed by it. As it turns out, that is exactly what God is like. And you know why that's a good thing? Because we make messes of things, don't we? Oh, come on. We make messes of things, don't we? We make messes of our finances. We make messes of our marriages. We take messes of our families. We make messes of our careers. We make messes of our own character, the development of our own heart. We may not all make messes in the same area, but one commonality we humans have is we just tend to make a mess of things. And it's not because we want it to be a mess. We don't. And it's not because we don't try to avoid messes. We really do. But it's almost as though there's just some fundamental flaw in us human beings that we end up making a mess of things in spite of our best efforts. I put myself through graduate school by managing a sporting goods store. Sam Weiss Sports World. Sam Weiss graduated from Furman University. He was a quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals for a number of years. Went on to coach. Very famous in the town that I happened to go to school in. He had a chain of 12 sporting goods stores. I managed one of the smallest ones. But you know, business was pretty good. We made a lot. And when the store next door to us, their lease ran out and they couldn't renew it, we got a lease on it, knocked the middle wall down to double the size of our store. And you know, I'm always looking at things and going, how can I tinker with that? How can I get better use of the space? How can we do this sort of stuff? And one of the things I thought is, okay, 2 stores, now we have 2 bathrooms. We only need 1. We don't have enough storage space. I'm going to turn 1 bathroom into storage space. So I went on one Saturday when I wasn't scheduled to work, and I rolled up my sleeves, and I do what I do best, construction work. And I walked into that bathroom, and I said, the first thing that needs to go is the toilet. Because you don't need a toilet in a storage closet. It's in the way. So I'm like looking at it and praying, oh God, give me direction here. And it occurred to me, turn water off. And so I noticed behind, just a little copper tubing with a little thing on it, and I turned it off, and sure enough, I flushed it, and the water went down, but nothing came back. Oh, that's it, the water's out. So I began to dismantle that whole toilet thing, and I got it out of there, and I set it behind the store, and my chest just began to swell with pride. It's like I am like the tool man. Turns out I pretty much was like the tool man. So I get that out of there, and I'm starting to put shelves on the walls now, right? And so I bought the brackets, and I brought the screws, and I had the little cordless drill, and I'm putting screws in, and I get all the shelves up, and I'm looking at my handiwork, and I'm going, dude, you are so multi-talented. Look at the storage closet that I have made.